Have you ever wondered why?
When?
How much?
What if?
Well, you're in luck, because you're listening to the Hypotheticast.
3 best buds.
On a mission.
To ask all the questions?
And get all the answers.
I was born with both guns blazing, and I do think I'm amazing. You got the dignity to feel a little about yourself. I don't care what your preacher says. I got my own vicious ways. Only got one commandment and it goes, I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
Hypotheticast time is now, right now. I just checked my watch, and I have a cool watch from Movement, MVMT. They're not our sponsor at all, but I just wanted to shout them out because, wow, the form factor on those puppies.
Can I see it?
Yeah, look. Ching,
It's
ching.
just one. There's one hand, and it says Hypotheticast time.
Yeah, and it's a hand,
It's
like a human hand. And it's waving at you.
Yeah.
And the palm says Hypotheticast time.
Yeah, it's on the hand
Yeah,
itself.
yeah.
So it never
pretty hard to
has to
read.
point at anything.
Yeah, it's a great watch. You can get them for only $359, which is honestly super affordable for a fashionable watch like this. My name's David. Welcome to the Hypotheticast.
My name is Emily.
My name is Mike.
I'm glad all our intros were exactly the same length.
We are in our series about the 5 plus senses, and this week we're talking about smelly stuff.
Yes.
And the things that smell them. Smells and the things that smell them.
Yeah.
I think one of the most underrated senses.
Yeah.
You know?
Good one.
I feel like it's always the first to go when you're like, which sense would you not,
Yeah.
like, could you get rid of? You'd be like, well, smell.
Yep.
Because I can live without that pretty easily.
We don't do a lot of survival things based on smell.
Some
Yeah.
animals do. We do not.
Some animals are little and furry, and that's their only
That's all
way.
they got.
And you love them.
Yeah, I love them. I love them.
I think it's interesting to think about how smell affects what we find gross, because that's usually our cue.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the time, if something is decomposing or came out of a butt, our bodies tell us via smell that we should stay
Don't
away.
eat it.
We're
Yeah.
like, no, not that thing. No, no, no. And then we learn that. And then once we've smelled it once, we know, oh yeah, I'm not going to eat that raccoon. Like it's dead.
Right. Yeah.
But that first time, maybe we do need that sense of smell.
So my thing with smell is
Yeah.
that I feel like I've always had a pretty weak sense of smell. Like not to the point where I'm like, I literally cannot smell that thing. But generally when people in a group are like, oh, what's that smell? I'm like, I don't know. And I can't smell it. I'm just like, whatever. I guess my is just not as sensitive.
Yeah.
However, then I got pregnant. Surprise, everybody.
Wait, what?
I am 23 weeks pregnant.
Oh my God. That's so many weeks. We had no idea.
That's why we had guests for so long, because I was puking all the time. And even when I came back once, we had to stop in the middle of a microtheticast for me to run and puke.
Sure did.
It was a great couple of months, folks.
There's a great little background recording that I have not released and never will of Tanner being worried. It's not you puking, but it's Tanner making worried sounds.
Yeah, I remember that. He came up to the bathroom door and he was like, it seems like it's worse than normal. And I was like, no, it's all bad.
It's like Tanner.
It's the
always
same.
bad. I think he was putting on a show for us.
Yeah, he wanted to show that he was
Concerned
concerned about you.
No,
Because if he
he's-
had just continued to cook like the cold-hearted bastard that he is, we would have been like, Tanner doesn't even care about babies or Emily.
He has been amazing. Pregnancy has been crazy. But I'm happy to report that I haven't puked in 10 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a record over
Nice.
since I was 8 weeks. So anyway, the
Nice.
point is smell related.
Yeah.
My sense of smell went fully wild, super smeller. I could smell things that I never knew even had a scent. And every scent, even ones that I normally like, made me want to puke.
Oh.
So it's a
Interesting.
little bit chilled out now, or maybe I've just kind of gotten used to it. And because I'm not nauseous 24/7, it's not as upsetting.
Sure.
But it's still weird. Like I used to like this. I normally like lavender. Not right
Too
now.
much?
I
It's because
can't
it was
do
too
it.
strong? Or
No,
just,
it's because it
just makes you nauseous or
Gross.
something?
Like it suddenly smells gross. It's so bizarre. And when we decided to start doing the scent series, I requested that we wait on smell and taste.
True.
So that I could hopefully get less nauseous about both of those things.
Right.
And
much.
yeah, I'm doing better now.
And there we go. Well, good.
So
What was a smell of a thing that you hadn't smelled before?
I think just people. So obviously
People
people
smell.
have a scent.
Yeah.
But
Everybody
like
has one.
I could smell it would be like someone that was like 4 feet away from me. And I would be like, that person
Like,
smells
that's them.
like 3 different things and I don't like it. And I would be like, I don't normally like, I felt like a dog or a superhero or something.
It is kind of awesome, but also terrible.
Was crazy, right?
It
And
doesn't
just
sound
like
great.
any food, like Tanner would like make a salad and sit down on the couch by me, and I'd be like, "No, you got to sit over there. I'm sorry."
There it is. Emily's having a baby. Going to be on the Hypotheticast pretty soon.
Yeah, we're going to interview that baby.
Yeah, guest every week. Yeah, let's do some games.
Let's do some games.
Let's do what we do.
Let's do a segment. The first one is called Would You Rather? It's a game we made up where we have to choose between 2 deceptively simple options. I am in charge of those this week, and I got lots of good ones from all y'all. This one's from Rachel Sherman. Would you rather have to smell a good smell, like fresh baked cookies, constantly, awake and asleep, for the rest of your life, or smell a bad smell, like rotten produce or garbage, for 5 minutes straight, but then never be affected by it again for the rest of your life?
Oh, for sure, the bad smell for 5 minutes.
The
Yeah.
bad one? Yeah. You want to get
Yeah.
rid of something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if a good smell was all the time, then it wouldn't be special anymore.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I want to be surprised by those freshly baked cookies.
I've thought that
If I
before
was
about
smell-
candles.
if I was
I'm like, I
smelling
can't get the same
cookies-
one every time.
If I was smelling cookies all the time, it'd be false alarm for cookies almost
Yeah.
all the time.
Although I feel like it would just become a background scent and you wouldn't notice it anymore. You know how like
I'm just kind of sad.
people's houses have a scent and but they can't smell it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'd want to be able to smell.
I know.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know, then when actual cookies were near, I would have no clue.
Yeah.
I would miss out.
Yeah.
All right, I
The
think-
warning bells wouldn't be there for
It
you.
would really depend on your lifestyle and if you encountered bad smells regularly, because having that good smell there to mask those bad ones would be very nice. So you'd be like constantly carrying around this sort of air freshener thing. But do you think it would just,
Doesn't work.
it doesn't work?
A
'Cause
good
air-
smell to cover up a bad
Yeah.
smell.
Air
No.
fresh, because
Yeah.
all that does, all that's ever done for me is it just makes, they mix together and then you
Yeah.
associate
Sure.
the good smell with the bad smell.
But this one is magic because I'm smelling it all the time magically. So that was my
But it
hope.
doesn't say
is
it
that
covers
would-
up other
yeah,
stuff,
that's
though.
true. That's true. That was my hope, is that the wizard would let it be magic smell and not
the would
just
you
an
rather
air
wizard.
freshener crammed up my nose. Which
Isn't
sounds
the would you
horrible.
rather's overseen by a witch?
Sometimes.
Oh, I guess there's a couple.
Yeah, it depends. The would you blanket witch is canon.
Oh, would you
the
blanket witch?
Would you rather's, I think,
Would
are
you
any
rather
magical
wizard?
being. I mean, sure.
No, we need to make
Whoever
this canon.
has
We need
it,
the
whoever
mythology.
has it, they just switch shifts. Like
Okay, there's a lot.
so, right now it's a wizard.
a lot of them.
Okay.
You know, they
Yeah.
can't work all the time.
I find it interesting that Rachel brought up that we would smell it while we're asleep.
Yeah, I don't think
Like,
I
I
smell
don't-
while I'm asleep.
I know that like sounds you hear in your sleep can affect your dreams, and I'm wondering. I mean, that must be true for
feel like
smells. too.
scents,
Your
yeah.
body still works while you're
Yeah.
asleep. So if you smelled something like smoke, I bet smoke would wake you
Yeah.
up. I bet. I'm
Yeah,
guessing
that's a good
like
point.
maybe positive smells in your sleep would be.
That's a good
you can have
point.
lots of
Yeah.
mowing dreams, freshly mowing lawn dreams.
Yeah.
It might be kind of nice. Yeah.
I just feel like this is an uneven balance because smelling something bad for 5 minutes and then never having to smell it again in your life is like a really good deal. Like,
It's a good deal.
5
It is.
minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's like
not
a
so long.
normal amount
I
of
can do
time to have
anything
to
for
smell
5
something
I
minutes.
can do
bad.
anything
Yeah.
for 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I would pick
Yeah, I was
though.
going to ask what you would eliminate. One word.
Maybe just poop.
Poop.
I mean, the thing, but like we
It's
just.
really
You want to
bad.
smell that, though.
And
but if it's on your shoe,
Yeah, you
Okay,
want to know.
okay, that's fair.
That's the downside to eliminating a bad smell is you might smell like it, and that's dangerous.
wouldn't.
or if
No.
your baby
Yeah.
poops, you want to know.
And you're just like,
I guess.
oh
you don't want
yeah,
them sitting in there
I
pooping.
guess.
probably just storing
yeah.
things in that diaper. No big deal. It's not poop. I can't smell it.
Could I like categorize farts as like stranger farts because somehow they're so much worse. Like when you're like out in public and someone farts and it's really bad.
Sure.
Because you like, I don't know, something about like you don't know where it came from and it's just like, no, I hate it.
But you still want to smell yours.
Well, like, I don't know. I feel like known farts are less gross.
They're less gross, but like, why not just eliminate all farts? I don't think a fart is ever really that important.
You're right. Farts don't cue you to anything.
They just cue you to someone farted, which is not a big deal.
And you usually know if you farted.
Yes.
Like you'd be able to feel it. So you'd be like, oh, I just farted. I should be aware.
Which is distinct from poop. Well, as a smell, I see that's the slippery slope.
But I do think that's less of a, like with poop, you got to clean. If it's your baby that pooped, you want to clean that. You want to help them clean up.
Right.
But if it's a fart, not much you can really do once it's happened.
Right.
You can light
it's
a match.
Out there.
Yeah, I think farts is the perfect choice because they're inconsequential but very present in your life if you're a human being that is around other human beings.
A farting body is a healthy body.
That's true. That's true.
Farting is nothing to be ashamed of.
A healthy body.
Fart proudly, said Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I think he said fart proudly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, he did say
said
that.
One part of that anyway.
He said at least one of those words, and I think it was fart.
Yeah,
I think actually his whole quote was fart. And then we added all that proudly and carry a big stick.
Is that a command? Is it a question?
He actually just farted and they wrote it down because he was dictating at the time, and then they've taken that out of that apocryphal work of scripture.
Have I told you guys before that my grandma claimed to not know what the word fart meant? Like in the 90s or something?
How is this possible?
Like she was just like, I've never heard that term. I just referred to it as passing gas. And my mom and all of her siblings were like, stop it.
No, that's not true.
She claimed it.
When I grew up, like fart was a dirty word. Like we were not supposed to say it.
We had to say floof.
But like to me, what a silly thing. Like, who am I offending?
Fart.
Like, if I call someone a fart, then that's rude. But if I say I farted...
But if, like, Dad farted in the car,
it's like,
that's what happened.
I could say floof, but floof describes the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a completely arbitrary word.
Neither of those are profane words. They don't take anything in vain. They don't reference something sexual. It's just fart.
I just really want to...
I do not understand.
Now I'm fascinated by the etymology of...
Tasty word.
Fart.
A fart. Well, here we go.
And what it is for other countries. No, we have to keep going. But I'll maybe this can be a separate podcast.
Just a research project for Mike.
Actually, all right, I'm going to do another Would You Rather while Mike looks up farts.
Furton, this is from Middle English. Furton, Fjorten, Farten, king of the old High German word.
Wait.
Kin, not king.
Okay.
Kin of the old High German word
Furzen. Be
obsessed.
Furzen.
Cognates are found in Old Norse, Slavic, and also Greek and Sanskrit. This is a universal word almost. I mean, that's not universal, but that's from many parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The English word fart is one of the oldest words in the English lexicon.
Yes.
I mean, this is according to Wikipedia.
Okay, so I'm definitely calling bullshit on my grandma then.
Yeah.
It's not like a new word that was invented.
It's possible
and
that her ears were shielded from it, but like it's definitely was out there. It's not a new word.
Is your grandma still alive?
She is.
You should send her a letter that just has that Wikipedia article printed out and see if she remembers why you're even sending it to her. Just that, and be like, here, I got this for you. Actually, you should send the Wikipedia article for the word fart to as many people as you can, because that's the weirdest thing.
All right, hit us with another,
Welcome
David.
to the Hypotheticast. This is Would You Rathers. This Would You Rather comes from Bird Enjoyer Online. They say, would you rather store up smells for 24 hours and get them all at once over 1 minute right before you fall asleep?
Whoa.
Or have every person you meet be able to smell you 5 minutes before you meet them, and once they meet you, they know it was your smell?
Oh, God.
Wait, can you read the first part of that again?
Yep. They're both really wacky. Whole thing again. Would you rather store up smells for 24 hours and get them? So have them released into your nose, I think, all at once. Get them all at once over 1 minute right before you fall asleep. Or have every person you meet be able to smell you 5 minutes before you meet them, and once they meet you, they know it was your smell.
What?
Like, imagine.
No,
we're gonna meet at a coffee shop, and 5 minutes before you're like, "What's that? What's on its way? What's on the horizon of my nose?" And then I show up, and they're like, "It was that. It was this guy."
Sure.
Maybe it's a good smell. It doesn't say it's a bad smell, but you are.
It might be, but
a very present.
I
person.
I don't think anybody wants their scent to be like that dominant in their identity and
Maybe
in
like
how
a
people
dog.
can perceive of them. I feel like I'd go with the first one, which I still don't like.
No. They're
Because it
both
takes
kinda
away
bad.
like the possibility of the scents warning you.
True.
So it takes away kind of the usefulness. And then also, you get that weird, like if you smelled both really gross garbage and like really good pizza, you'd get them at the same time and it would just be unfortunate.
And right before you go to bed, like I would be like up for
Yeah.
like another hour being like, wait, when did I smell that? Like, what is that from?
Right.
Yeah,
oh, man.
it would be
I
a
smelled
lot.
pizza. Where was it? I missed it. Like, I walked right past. Oh, that's so sad.
But I don't want my scent to be that prominent
I guess
at all.
I was picturing it
that
being
sounds
like
terrifying.
So this is what I was
For
thinking.
others.
That option I would choose because
The smell announcing.
my smell can be my herald.
Yeah.
I have arrived because it's still just this way I smell now, and I smell
just you.
fine.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
I
As a person that
I
knows
have-
you and lives with you, you smell like a human being.
Thank you,
And like,
David.
I would not mind if we were hanging out and 5 minutes before I was like, oh yeah, Mike's on his way. Like, that wouldn't be bad.
To me, so it's not like my smell is going to be my only identity. It would just be like they would know I was
they would
coming, I
know.
guess, which is fine.
Which is fine.
I
You don't have
guess
to send a text that says like on my way.
It'd be harder to sneak up on people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you do that much? Do you sneak that much? Are you a
I don't
sneaky
now.
boy?
I don't have much of a use for it. But should I ever
A use
have
for
the
it?
occasion to do
Yeah,
some
that's true.
sneaking, it would be made more difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
People would
That's a
smell
good
me.
point.
I have to make smell bombs of my own scent and like throw them in
Yes,
different
that's what
places.
I was thinking. Is you could use everyone's knowledge of your smell as a tactic to divert. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this world. I think I like both of them for different reasons. I actually think both of them sound nice. One, they both have their downsides too, obviously. No sneaking. You are announcing yourself 5 minutes before you get to a place, which is a little extra, not great. But I kind of like the Herald idea. I kind of like someone being able to know, oh, David's almost here. Got to get emotionally ready to hang out with that guy. And who knows, maybe my smell is nice and maybe it sucks. And if it sucks, well, then I'm sorry, everyone, 5 minutes before we hang out. The first one, though, I think I'm going to choose. The smells all day, they store up and then they explode in my nose for one sweet minute. Because I think it would be a nice little almost journaling experience.
Journaling.
To be like, I'm laying down 1 minute and I get to relive everything that I did in that day. To be like, oh yeah, that smell. Oh, that was from this. Oh, that was from this. Oh, that was this. That was this. Oh, that's my friend. That's my bud. That smells like Joan. That's my dinner, and this is my bed. I don't know. I think it would be kind of nice. It'd be a little phantasmagoria of getting blasted by all of the things that I smelled that day.
Getting blasted.
Getting blasted.
Seems
That's
intense.
what David wants.
That's what I would say when I went to bed. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, well, Mike, it's been a good day, but I'm going to go get blasted.
And that would not shock me at all.
Nope.
I would say, okay, David.
You got
Good
that
night.
right.
Nighty
Good
night, bro.
You got that right. All right, I'm going to hit you with one more question. Don't worry, I'm not violent. This one is from Joe Holm.
Hey, Joe.
Would you rather smell like Axe body spray at all times and have people in a frenzy over you whenever they can smell you and you smell like Axe body spray, or be required to have a lit candle of whatever scent you prefer within 10 feet of you at all times, and if it ever gets outside of that range, it may set the nearest thing on fire?
Whoa, that's
So
a
it's like an
complicated
intense
world.
candle.
So I have a question about the first one.
Yeah, ready.
Is that question, is that part of it presuming that the reality that we are presented with in Axe body spray commercials is real?
Yes, I think that is a play on the Axe body spray commercials in which somebody, whoosh, they axe up, they go outside, and people literally are like trying to eat them because they smell so good.
Yeah.
They just want
That's-
that bod so bad.
That's hilarious.
bod is a
I
different
know
spray.
that was my central problem with the whole premise was that
Yeah.
like it's Axe body spray that's the trigger for people wanting you.
It's like, no, not even close.
Yeah.
It's a repellent.
Right. So maybe the thing that would suck the most about that is that we would know that it actually is disgusting and we would
Yeah.
have to smell it all the time because it's disgusting.
That is why I think he wrote like, and you also smell like Axe body spray.
And
Like, it's very
also
important.
everybody else is acting like It's amazing.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
What I'm interested in is the phrase "they're in a frenzy,
In a
over
frenzy
me."
over
What is
you.
like? It does sound like the ending of the movie / book Perfume, where I might get
they want
literally
to consume
spoiler alert
you.
for Perfume. Step away.
Step away.
Okay, here we come. The ending of Perfume, where someone literally gets devoured because they have the most beautiful scent on them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's the movie that God. I get it now. Endgame also ends the same way.
Yep,
And I was
right.
like, what does this remind me
Yeah,
of?
when
'Cause
Thanos puts on that Axe body spray. Weird product placement, but then the Avengers just
they
eat him.
And I was like, oh, sweet. Shout out to Patrick Suskind or whoever wrote that book. It was such a good reference to that classic movie that everybody liked and wasn't disturbed by.
Yeah. So I do want to say something, and this might be controversial.
Oh, no.
Axe body spray. I think the reason we think it's disgusting is it's used by disgusting bro guys, which to be fair, the marketing pretty much orients it in that demographic. But as someone who has used it, because I was curious, if you use it in moderation, some of them smell pretty nice.
I'm sure they do.
Sure.
But
I'm
it's
sure.
just mostly used to excess and by people you probably wouldn't want to be around.
Yeah,
I think it's
that's
just
a fair point.
I think it's also just that it's a bit like deodorant or any like toiletry that is scented, where because these aren't like expensively crafted scent experiences, it's like pretty synthetic smelling. So I feel like deodorant, where like, you know, in most lines of deodorant there's like a couple scents that are like, oh no, and then like a couple that are like, okay, I could deal with that, that's not so bad. It's probably like that, where it's like some of the scents are probably awful, some of them are probably fine, but just they're often used too much.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just, it has a bad connotation and it gets lathered on. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But I would say not to like shill for like luxury goods, but I think probably like if you want to wear a scent, an actual like cologne or perfume,
it's probably crafted a bit more
probably just going to be
carefully.
a little bit more delicate.
Yeah, that seems nice.
More subtle. I will pick the candle one
Me
because
too.
I love the logistics
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
that.
I don't
You
understand.
could just
Is it
carry
sentient?
around. I would just carry around like an old timey lantern, and that would just be like my thing.
That's awesome. Yes, me too.
I mean, it
oh
would
my God,
it would probably
that's so
prohibit
cool.
you going into places that don't allow open flame.
That's a good point.
So that would be
There's not that
although-
many. There probably are actually a lot.
The funny thing about that is it's way less about the scent it's producing than
Yeah.
keeping a lit candle nearby you at
That
all
sounds
times.
hard. So here I have lots of follow-up questions, obviously. One, does it stay lit as long as it wants? Because it sounds magical. Because
Yeah.
if it gets far away from me, it will light things on fire, apparently.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not just like a normal candle, but like of its own volition, which sounds scary. I assume that it will stay lit and I don't have to like be like shielding it all the time.
I
like
would
if
assume that
goes
too.
out, then it just is out.
Yeah,
and then it's not going to light something on
The
fire.
danger was that if it got
Yeah.
too far away,
Yeah.
it might set something on fire.
Yeah. So let's say that it's always going to be lit. It's a magic candle. That sounds kind of charming.
I feel
can
like
even
I'd
put it
figure
on
out
my,
a way
on,
to-
like my belt or something.
Maybe I'm lucky because I'm a lady, but I could maybe rig up like a tote bag
Yeah.
to like keep it in so that I could like get into the movie theater and just be like, this is my
nice.
stuff.
Oh my God. Imagine working at the movie theater being like, I need to go through your backpack, and you unzip first pocket and it's like, oh yeah, some snacks. Well, we'll have to take these. And then second pocket and there's a lit candle inside of it. You're like, excuse me?
Yeah,
This is not okay in any way. And also how is it in here? How have you done this?
I would wear a top hat, I think.
Ooh, good
And
one.
have the candle under
Right?
it?
Yeah, the top
And
hat.
a little door. And
Yeah,
you
then I could
with
be
a
like,
door.
they'd be like, "Oh, sir, you smell quite delightful today," and
Be
I'd
like,
be like,
apple cinnamon.
just give a little wink and open the door on my hat, and they'd be like, "Oh, of course."
Could you have a little mouse that lived in there too? I just feel like that
Well,
would have
yeah.
to
The
happen.
Candlekeeper.
Yeah, the
course.
Candlekeeper.
Yeah, he's like a
Squeak,
lighthouse
squeak.
keeper. I think the scent for mine would be like a pine scent. I don't like too sweet scents. The sweet scents are usually overpowering.
Pine Sol, though.
But a good
Hell yeah.
not Pine Sol.
No, I love
but
that
a
shit.
good like autumnal.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I love
something
it.
like
I
that
love
would be
the image
nice.
of the little candle keeper, squeak, squeak, like waving
Yeah.
a little branch, like of a pine tree, over the candle to like diffuse it into the air. I just love this character of the
magical,
candle keeper
yeah.
that lives in your top.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'd go with the candle too. I'm not sure what. There was this candle that Anthropology used to carry, and I got like multiple. Like I replaced it multiple times because it was so good, but I can't remember what it was called, and I don't have it anymore. But
So you were candle?
Yeah, I was candle
boy?
too. I think mine would probably be something like laundry.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
I just like fresh laundry
the
smell,
linen
like the
scents.
fresh linen.
Those are nice. They're not usually
They're
too
light.
much.
It's basic. It's in the background, but it smells sort of fresh while not being invasive.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to like completely take over a room when I was in it.
Cool. Let's go candle shopping, boys.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah, Yankee Candle.
Where will I get a Candlekeeper?
I took them.
You took them. Mine's
them
going to live
all.
in my pocket, and it's going to be a frog.
In your pocket? You can keep the candle in your pocket?
If Emily can keep it in a backpack, maybe I'll just get a frog and I'll call it Candlekeeper, and I'll put it in my pocket, and I won't have this candle because magic isn't real.
Let us launch into the next section of the show.
Let us.
This section is called The Meat. It is the part of the show where we choose one big hypothetical question and go a little deeper. Well, turns out there's not a lot of questions you can ask about scent that are just so meaty and juicy that we can talk about it for that long.
Sure.
So we're going to break it up a little bit. We're going to have this is like, what's that Subway sandwich that has like 3 different meats on it?
Cold cut combo.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
I was thinking
This is
meatball.
like the cold cut combo of meats. We're just going to bounce around a couple things.
Sweet. I love bouncy meat. Nope. Back it up.
Wow. David has censored himself.
So this first one is just the one that I thought of first. So I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
What if everything that smells nasty to most people suddenly smelled really good to you?
To me.
And vice versa. What would you do? Like, how would you deal with that? Would you like secretly smell some garbage every day?
So everything that's bad, everything that smelled bad smells good, and everything that smelled good smells bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
so,
like flips.
Ooh,
So like neutral scents are still neutral.
Okay. I would have to start using different kinds of candles. But what I might do is make my own, because I have witnessed Hannah made some candles once and it wasn't too hard, and you can put in whatever essential oil stuff that you want and make the candle smell like that.
So what's a nasty smelling essential oil?
A nasty smelling
and also
essential
you live
oil.
with someone else.
Yeah, I know.
See, that's
So
my
I'd
challenge
maybe have to just
too.
live
not
by
have
myself.
You could just not have candles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But like like anytime anyone cooked food, I would be like, "Oh, that smells
Well,
disgusting."
good thing I don't cook very much.
Well,
then.
but even the microwave, like walking past to be like wafting, I would probably have to live alone. I think
Yeah, it's
all of
true.
us would have to live alone, because another person having the exact opposite sense of smell as you would be terrible. That would cause so many conflicts.
I think I would probably, because I don't want to live alone
Yeah.
apart from.
How would you live?
I think we would just have agreements that like things need to smell very neutral for the most part, like no scented candles, and like cooking. I don't know. I would
You
just
could fan it out a window or something.
and I'd
like,
have
as
to just
much as
like remove
possible.
myself, and then maybe I could just have like a secret little like garbage corner in the basement or something. Where I like keep like you guys are looking at me like I'm crazy, but if you
No,
really, it'd
that's
be like
what's-
my aromatherapy.
Yeah.
I just like keep little like bins of like different kinds of garbage, and then just like go down
get a
there and
little
like
whiff of compost.
meditate.
Aromatherapy, but with
The
trash.
nastiness.
decaying rat corpse. That's
Honestly,
how I unwind.
Aromatherapy with garbage is like very millennial energy. Like that
Yeah, it
is
is.
absolutely.
Yeah, after you
There's
dumpster
probably
dive.
gonna be
Yeah.
it's like isn't there like binge drinking yoga or something? There's probably
Yeah.
gonna be a like garbage meditation class soon.
I mean, here's the thing.
Ready?
It's scents that have changed.
Yeah.
Taste has not changed.
Yeah.
Right.
So things that you think smell really bad are still going to taste good to you.
Right.
So you just
right.
have to plug your nose while you eat good food.
Which honestly, again, is an actual pregnancy experience that I've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Where I'm
That's-
like,
I don't want to smell it.
this is smelling too much, and I don't think I'm gonna. But then, like, if I just like have a bite, like we got these chicken wings last weekend,
Chicken wings.
and we got them, and they had like a lot of seasoning smell, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. It just felt too much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll just try a bite of one, and they were really good, but I didn't like the smell.
Interesting.
Man, the problem with me having this, I think personally, is that I like having people over. I'm the sort of person that's like, hey, come over and we'll share a drink and we'll talk. And I think wherever I lived would inevitably, even just by default, it would probably smell bad to everyone else. And to me, I would be like, this is great. I love living in this nice home. And so I think I would probably have to just like have my garbage corner that Emily has
Secret
would just be my
garbage corner.
whole house, and I would just not have anyone in it ever, and I would be the one that went everywhere.
But
Then if you indulge too much though,
I know,
then
it's
you would smell
dangerous.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't
and
have
I
a
would be like, I
job.
smell so cool.
Yeah.
And people would be like, you literally have trash smell on your body. Like,
Yeah.
please
I
leave.
mean, Emily's solution of just having neutral smells, like the thing is that like you don't have an extremely scent focused lifestyle
No,
right
that's
now.
true.
You don't try
Yeah.
to smell
I
a
like
certain
it to
way.
just not smell
we have
most
a
of the
couple
time.
scented candles
Yeah.
that are here in the home.
that are nice.
It would just be like you get used to smells. I mean, you get used to bad smells too. Like you
Yeah,
could
you might
probably
be
deal
right.
with it.
Yeah, you're
You could
probably right.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Probably the best solution would be only indulging in what we would think are good scents in like private and minimally.
Yeah. I think it would mostly be avoidance. And I
Yeah, I
think
think so too.
being honest about who I am, I would probably just make it a me problem and be like, if other people want to smell nice things, I will just suck it up and deal with it because they are enjoying themselves and I'm the genetic freak that thinks that their pizza smells like garbage.
I think the hardest thing would be when you encounter something nasty like out in the world and everybody else is like,
Yeah.
ew, and you're like, oh my God, it's
And like,
amazing.
oh, hey, I gotta get that whiff.
I mean, you could just not say anything.
I know, but it
You'd be
would
so
still be
tempted.
hot. Yeah, like, when you like pass by pretty smelling flowers.
I always have to
have to
exclaim,
act
"What
like-
beautiful flowers!"
No, but like smelling them
nice to
is
smell them.
nice. Yeah, and you'd
sure.
have to
Yeah.
act
I
repulsed
love
like
smelling a
everybody
nice thing.
else.
No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, this is my
fit in.
chance. This is you all get to smell all that stuff that I think smells like trash.
I think I'd become a trash collector.
It's a good idea.
Ooh, yeah.
I think having a
Solid
job
career.
or like a zookeeper.
I've thought about that as a job before.
Yeah.
Because like it seems kind of nice. I mean, it seems
Lots of
interesting.
private time.
Yeah,
Get to listen
lots
to your
of
own
private
movie
time,
or music and podcasts.
Self-directed. I mean, very clear task.
Yeah.
And one of the big downsides of it is the smells,
Stanky.
right? Gross. I mean, you see a lot of gross stuff too. But I think
Yeah.
with the scent divorced from it,
I agree. It
you
wouldn't
would
be
be
that
like,
bad.
yeah, I don't know what that brown fluid is that just leaked out of this bag.
Probably
but,
Coca-Cola.
I
Throw it in
can't.
the truck.
It smells great
awesome.
to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would have enough common sense to not like taste anything that you saw. But you would be like, this actually, I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
So I think that might help you out. Or
Yeah.
being a mortician also.
Right.
maybe.
Something, a doctor even, because a lot of the time the smell of a body is what will get the nausea going. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. You'd be able to do those jobs that are nasty otherwise. Sewer
Smell
cleaner.
nasty. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Sewer
be a
cleaner.
sewer
Just going down
cleaner.
into the sewers and
just
scrubbing
Scrubbing
them.
it up.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
mean they get so
definitely a job.
dirty down there, and the reason is that nobody wants to clean them. I will.
Okay, so
What's next?
Next is if you could determine very specifically the scents of certain things, what would you want like the main things in your life to smell? So like yourself is one.
Yeah, I am one.
Maybe also your home. And then if there's just like any general scents in the world that just kind of like are static and are what they are, but you could manipulate them, what would you make them smell
Cool,
like?
cool. What would I make things smell like? Well, let's start with me. I'm thinking of a lot of things that I like smelling, like grilling meat or fresh baked cookies or, a bonfire even at times is a nice smell. But then like after a while is a horrible smell. And I'm like, please, I don't want to smell this anymore. It's hard to know what sorts of smells. Vanilla is a good one. Like vanilla is just like kind of sweet, pretty low key, pretty classic.
Yeah.
I might make myself smell like vanilla or smell like a beach.
That's a good
Can
one.
I smell like a beach?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, you can.
mine also feels like a little bit abstract. Like
Yeah.
I want to smell like fresh air with like a very light floral or like citrus note in it.
okay.
So that
Yeah.
it's mostly just like almost like a subconscious like, oh, this is like nice, but also fairly neutral. But then there's just like a hint of, kind of like what a lot of perfumes are going for,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah.
where it's like soft and muted, but like mostly evokes like pleasant. And I'd have to do some research about like
Sure.
sense that, but I think like for the most part, like citrus usually has positive connotations.
A little bit sweet, a little bit sour.
Yeah.
Like a grapefruit. I want to smell like a grapefruit.
Grapefruit. So ever since you said that I was the scent master, I can't stop but thinking that I could use this power to be a superhero.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sure.
So sure,
Do what you will.
you can change any scent in the world. So maybe I could make, if I saw some robbers with a sack of money, I could make the money smell like diapers. And then they'd drop the diapers that they thought were diapers and they'd run away.
Would they?
I
They're
don't know.
sacrificing a lot of things to be robbers.
Yeah.
I don't know if diaper smell is going to be like the thing that does
Am I
it.
permanently altering the smell for everybody? Can I do it in a focused region? Can
That
I just
seems
be
like
like
a separate question.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'm
Which
just
is
getting away
great,
from myself
which is
here.
Great. No,
I
I
feel
love
like-
I wanna
that
be the
idea.
scent master.
Being the scent master sounds awesome, and that's its own thing. Separate from Emily's
I
question.
guess for me, I don't know. I think I smell wonderful on my own.
Sure.
As Emily's mentioned previously on the podcast, I think on our Instagram when you posted a photo of like the 5 deodorants I had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, I want to be on the cutting edge of scent technology for my body, so that's why I do this.
Sure.
You know, I want to know if I smell like a Kraken or a bear claw or whatever it is Old
Shout out to
Spice
Old
thinks I
Spice.
should smell
Yeah.
like. I just think it's really interesting. So I'm pretty happy with my own scent. I
Yeah.
don't know that
So
I
you
need to
don't need to
change it
change it.
too
Yeah.
much. I've got compliments that I smell nice.
I think it would be nice to not ever have to put on deodorant, but then you would never be able to choose again. So that would be
Yeah. See, my
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
I actually really do like some perfumes. Not all, but like I have like a few favorites. But I'm lazy, and so I just like
Yes.
never put them on.
Exactly.
I would just really like it if that was naturally
Right.
there.
That'd be so convenient.
It's tough for me to choose because, like, this is a personal thing to reveal here, but I don't have any tattoos. And it's because I'm always like, what if I didn't want that tattoo anymore?
Yeah.
So if I had to choose a
afraid of
scent,
that
and I'd be like,
commitment.
what if I didn't like it after a while?
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
just leave things how they lie.
Right.
Let's just
'Cause
take the
it's
dice as
safe.
they've been rolled.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and just,
You could
yeah.
also, with this power, you could also change something that you don't like the smell of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
again, we
what?
run into the problems we discussed earlier, which is like if I change, like I could change farts, but then, I mean, then that would be
That's
probably
farts
good.
are a great option.
But like,
Yeah.
poop,
I think-
but any other bad smelling thing, there's a good reason for you to
Yeah, I
smell. Like
know.
if it's time to take the trash out, you want to smell the trash. Which again, I could make that smell like a good thing, but then I can't help but wonder if the trash smelled good, the thing I smelled it like, would that be kind of ruined? Because then I would think of like a big rotten bag of garbage every time I smelled that other
interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
In my mind.
If that smell overlapped with a smell that you liked and you smelled that smell you liked,
I'd be like, oh, I gotta take out the trash, even though really it's like a pretty sheep. Wait, do sheep smell good? Never mind.
yeah, and they're very pretty.
Farm animals notoriously smell great.
Actually thinking of farms specifically,
Yeah.
like living in Iowa, I got exposed to many scents and I just sort of got used to them. It was not hard to make them a part of my daily life, but every time I drove back down there after being off for a little while, I was like, oh, it's poop everywhere. Like, and hog farming smells
Those are
so
the
bad.
worst.
And that smell is not useful for me at all.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I would change hog farming to smell like cake, because why not?
Yeah.
Like, I
Sure.
don't care. Or something nice. Like, even just the scent of a falling leaf on a fall
Yeah,
day.
turkey farms are nasty.
Yeah,
smelling
a lot of
places.
farming, especially factory farming, is just pungent. And if I could just say, I'm going to turn that off, it's an irresponsible choice because I'm ignoring like why that smell is so concentrated and nasty. But like, I can't do anything about a factory farm when I drive past it, so I might as well not smell it.
Might as well.
I'm also just like trying to think of ways that I could incorporate my favorite smells more into my life. Like I am a really big fan of the smell of a new book
Ooh.
or freshly printed anything.
Here's the thing I would do. Instead of making things smell like specific stuff, because I just realized you can also just change the things that don't smell very much to smell
Yeah.
like something different that's
Right.
very pungent in a good or bad way. And I was thinking I would make predators like bears to me. I don't have a lot of, natural dangers in my life, but when I go camping, I'm a little like, I'm a little worried that there might be a bear somewhere around. I would make them smell like a huge something. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of a really strong smell that isn't necessarily like maybe gas, like
I was
a
just
gas
gonna say
station.
gasoline.
Because it's not
Twinsies.
necessarily terrible, but it is very distinct. And I'd be like, what's that gasoline
And
smell?
out of
Bear.
place.
And then we
in the
would all just
forest.
like
Yeah,
know
exactly.
that. Could you do
Yeah.
the same for like sexual predators?
Absolutely.
Because that feels like it would
Yeah.
be really
Yeah,
useful.
they would all
Smell
smell
like
like
gas.
gasoline.
Right.
And
People would be like, oh, I can't be friends with you.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
though you seem like a nice guy to me, I know the truth about your
I know the
behavior.
truth because you smell like gas.
Right.
Maybe that would be a good actual punishment for sexual predators.
Yeah.
Instead of like a brand I mean, brands are problematic. Tattoos.
Yeah.
But maybe a scent.
smell.
It's kind of like, although
Every morning they have to shower
if you
in
end up
gas.
like accidentally spilling gas on yourself or something,
Yeah.
like
People would be
no,
like,
no,
nasty.
You'd
It's
have
like,
to,
no, I
like,
promise.
it's just I just
Call
filled
in
my
sick
car
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, no one would want to go to gas stations, but they'd be so careful.
But then we could all start getting more electric cars. People would stop using
Hey,
fossil fuels.
two birds, baby.
Oh my God.
One bear,
We
one
fixed
sexual
it.
predator with one stone.
Now on the Hypotheticast, we have a segment called Would You Blank It? Now, this is a segment where we take that blank and we put another word in there. Usually it's a verb because that's how grammar works in this context. We say, would you eat it? Or would you take a bike ride with it? And then we present that scenario to one of us. This week it's Emily. Then David and I will go back and forth, making that scenario more or less appealing to you. And probably really weird.
Probably.
And then you let us know what you think about it.
Oh, I will.
Now, this week probably seems like I'm going to say, would you smell it? But I'm going to take that a little bit in a different direction. Specifically, it's going to be about smelling flower. Let me paint you a picture, and then you can tell me what you think.
Please do.
So you are a homeowner now. Let's say you want to make a little flower garden in your backyard. I don't know if that's something you actually want to do.
In theory, that sounds nice. But
Okay, but the actual work of it, not so much.
not at the moment.
Well, let's say you're at a point in your life where you want to make a flower garden.
Sure.
So you go to a nice little side of the road greenhouse and you are going through and looking at all the nice flowers and trying to decide what you want. And you go further back in the greenhouse into a dimly lit section of the greenhouse where no one else seems to suddenly be around. Oh. And you see this very large, ornate pot with a large plant in it. And it has a plaque on it. And as you read it, it describes the plant is one of a kind. It was found in an ancient tomb of a pharaoh, and somehow this small town Minnesota greenhouse has planted it in this pot, and it's going to bloom in a month. And you can already like smell the plant itself. You can see it. It's like a little bulb that's starting to come out of the soil, and it smells amazing. It immediately takes you back to like a really wonderful childhood memory. Picture that scene in Ratatouille where the critic eats the ratatouille and is transported back to his childhood instantly.
Love it.
I don't know your memory specifically for you, but you can probably picture a good childhood memory, probably being outdoors playing with your friends, and you're just like, this is amazing. Like, I need to take this plant home. And even though it's a rare ancient Egyptian plant,
you can buy it.
It's affordably priced for some reason. And so,
suspicious.
Well, I guess that's what I'm going to. Do you want to take this plant home to put in your flower garden?
Oh, so is the question: do you?
Would you
at
plant
this point,
it?
Would you plant
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay, I
would
like
you
that.
take it home?
That's good.
And then we'll see how this
Would
goes
you plant
for
it
you.
is pretty vague. I like that.
I would definitely have some questions. I mean, like the main thing that gives me pause is like this is literally the only one of its kind in the world, and it's affordably priced in a Minnesota greenhouse.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird, right?
Yeah, huh?
That would give me a little pause. I almost prefer that fact not be known, because if they were just like, oh, it's from Egypt,
Okay.
and it smelled really good and it was reasonably priced, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, let's just do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That would maybe give me a little pause, and I'd ask some questions, and I probably just assumed that it was like a weird sales tactic. Like they're like telling me some tale just to like be like, no, seriously, very rare.
No, very rare.
Because like botanists all over the world would be pissed about that.
Yeah,
They would
botanists
be
hate them.
pissed.
It'd probably be
That
like
belongs in a museum.
technically illegal to like take the last of a species. So I'm
are you doing?
a little bit, but like if the smell is just so good.
Yeah, it's just
I
wonderful.
probably will be choosing not to actually really believe that it's the last of its kind at this point, because it
Okay.
smells really good and it's affordable. So I'd probably just get it.
You would get it.
Yeah.
You would plant it.
I'd buy it.
Huh.
Take it home.
All right.
I would have intentions to plant at this point.
Yeah, definitely. So, you buy the plant. the transaction goes smooth. Everything goes great.
Whew.
The greenhouse employee was very helpful. You get home and you set it down, and obviously like Tanner's like, oh, what's that? And you're like, oh, it's this plant. And he's like, oh, cool. It smells great. Like, wow. And he just gets a bunch of whiffs. And he's like, what's it called again? And you say what it's called, which I don't think we actually know yet. And he's like, oh, cool. And he does he goes off to his little Tanner zone, wherever that may be.
Tanner zone.
And as you start to like make lunch or something, he comes back and he's like, I did some Googling, and that pharaoh that they found this plant in, he was executed for doing necromancy. So that's pretty weird, right? I'm like, what a wild story. Like, the plant smells great, though. Plant it. It's great. And then he leaves. He doesn't actually seem that skeeved by it.
That's hilarious, because I feel like Tanner is like so suspicious of information and like bullshit on the internet.
Sure.
He literally, like, every time I'm like, did you see this article that had this study? And he's like, what was the sample size? Like, give me the dates. You know, like,
He's
so
a
I feel like if
skeptic.
he even begun to read that sentence that said like this pharaoh was executed for necromancy, he'd be like, nah.
Yeah. But it was so peer reviewed and it was so true.
It was a peer-reviewed study.
You got multiple academic sources.
Yeah.
that
Somehow it's the
confirm.
most known historical fact, like more than any historical fact. This one is true, that this pharaoh was doing necromancy. And Tanner was like, I can't argue with peer-reviewed science.
Again, I would still be like, that's an interesting fact. I still don't really believe that this is the last of this flowers kind. And so I would just be like, fun fact. Cool. I'm going to go plant it now.
Yeah.
So you plant the plant in your garden. It seems to be doing well. It starts to grow. You find when you bought it, it came with a little instruction book.
Good.
It seems to leave a lot of questions, but it does let you know that it's going to blossom. It only blossoms once every year. And so it's only during a small period of time when it actually comes to full. What's it called when a flower? Is it blossom? That's it.
Yeah, I think
so when a flower blossoms,
Yep.
it comes out and then it goes
comes
back
out.
into hibernation.
Yeah.
Which is what flowers do. So you keep it in your yard. You notice that it only really seems it's growing very slowly, but it seems to really respond well to moonlight. Only at nighttime do you see it really like. I guess you don't see it actually moving or anything in your garden, but you notice like. During the day, it maybe doesn't seem like it's doing so good, but then you notice that at nighttime, it starts to seem like it's responding to the moonlight.
Ooh.
Then you're browsing Nextdoor on your phone.
Oh, yeah. Always a delight.
And you've noticed that there's an uptick in like neighborhood pets going missing. And there people are like, I don't know like what's going on, but like I let my cat out for the night in my backyard, I guess because these are outdoor cats, and I never came back, and I don't really know what's going on. Like, it just, has anyone seen my cat or dog? It just seems kind of weird. And they're all people that live near you, but again, like it just seems weird. You're not really sure if it has anything to do with your plant.
Am I suspicious that it might, though?
I don't know. Are you?
I mean, no, because people post so much shit on Nextdoor. Like, there's like missing pets and found pets all the time. Like, I don't necessarily think that cats should be outdoor cats in the city.
Ooh.
But I also, if I like saw a cat like on the sidewalk in front of my house, I wouldn't make a Nextdoor post about it. Well, guess what? Most people on Nextdoor do that.
So
it's like every day I get like an urgent alert that's like, there's an orange cat in my yard. And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Urgent.
What are we going to do?
What are we going to do?
So, I'm just gonna like maybe have some, I don't know, maybe I'll start doing some like witchy shit in the backyard with this cool. I mean, it sounds like cool if it like looks really good in the moonlight.
yeah, it does.
All right. So you've had this plant in the ground for a couple weeks. Pets are going missing. It's probably just people freaking out on Nextdoor. Pharaoh was accused of necromancy. Probably just a rumor. Last plant of its kind for a suspiciously low amount of money. Probably just a marketing lie. And then one morning you wake up and all the grass on your block is gone. Not just your yard, but all of the grass is gone. And this plant has gained a couple stalks. It's not like in full majestic bloom yet, or whatever we decided that it was gonna in like a month.
Well, I didn't say what time. It just does it once a year.
But it's once a year.
So
let's say it's
it
coming
could be approaching
in like a couple weeks, but it's not there yet. But it has grown a couple more stalks. That one is red and one is blue. So it's like very vibrant and very cool looking, but also suspicious.
Okay. So I know you wanted that to sound cool, but I actually am a little freaked out when plants start to look like not plants. Like we've talked before about how I don't like mold. That actually applies also to fungus, like in the woods. So like I remember as a little kid walking around the woods that my grandparents lived in, and occasionally we'd pass by and like my parents would be like, "Ooh, look at that cool fungus." It would be like this vibrant, bright orange, wavy, weird thing. And I was like, nope, no, do not like, danger, stay away from. And I would like have nightmares that it would come to get me.
It would come to get you.
So the grass all dying, first of all, I'm sure people would be like losing their minds, and like it would be like the Grand Inquisition on my block. Like, who did this? Why did this happen to us? But then also the plants starting to look like weirder and less just like a nice flower. I think at that point, I would start to worry that I was somehow doing this, and I would probably get rid of the plant.
You try to uproot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would unplant it.
Unplant.
So let's say you decide you gotta get rid of this plant. But you're going to do it in the morning. You go to sleep and you wake up. When you wake up, you look out your back window and you see the plant, and it is covered in the most beautiful tiny blooms of flowers. The main bulb itself has not opened yet, but the actual plant is covered in just multicolored flowers. They don't look weird or poisonous. They just look like beautiful flowers. And the rest of your yard is also sprouted with like beautiful vegetation. There's like vegetable garden in one corner. Yes. There's it all looks very healthy and nice. And it's it doesn't look like fungus or anything that's unnatural, but it's all come up overnight. So that is what's waiting for you. And you have to decide.
Your plant stole everyone else's grass and made it into cool shit.
So like,
that's awesome.
I would legit be like, wow, I wish that I could keep all this. Like, I would love to have like a beautiful yard with lush vegetation and a vegetable garden and all that. Like, a part of my brain would be like, wouldn't my life be amazing if this is just like what my yard looked like and I didn't have to work at it and this like magic plant just did it for me. However, at that point, like that sort of drastic change, I am like full on suspicious of this flower, and it feels real sketchy. And also at that point, I'd be nervous that my neighbors would be like, "What's going on in your yard? Look at ours."
Yeah,
like I do not want to start a fight. So I would still for sure be uprooting that baby and getting it out.
That baby.
You get that shovel, you start digging it up, because at this point the roots are like, it's kind of grown a decent amount, and it's not just a pluck it out and it's gone process. It's rooted pretty hard. You'll be able to get it out, but you might need to dig it up. So you start digging it up, and every time you put the shovel into the ground after you get under the first layer of soil, you go whoosh with the shovel, and you hear at first what you think is your imagination, a little groan, like a and as you get deeper and deeper, it's like boom, and it's like ugh. And it starts to sound more and more gravelly and louder the more roots you sever. And the last root you cut through, the mummy from The Mummy explodes out of the plant.
Wait, which mummy? Which mummy?
The Tom Cruise one.
Oh God! wasn't that a lady?
No, I'm just kidding. The first one.
Which one? You mean the old Universal one?
Yeah.
Okay. Boris Karloff.
No, I mean
Arnold Vosloo.
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser.
Sorry, there's been a lot of mummy movies. Just want to make sure what you're dealing with.
No, that's a fair point. The mummy from Brendan Fraser's The Mummy.
Okay, so Arnold
starring
Vosloo.
Rachel Weisz. That mummy ghosts out of it because it's like the spirit of the mummy. It's not an actual mummy coming out of this plant, but it's like a ghost that goes up into the sky and it says, "You have freed me from my nemesis, this plant." Thank you for making the right decision.
And Tanner runs out with a Wikipedia article and he's printed off the computer and says, wait, Emily, no. It turns out that the pharaoh was imprisoned in the flower for necromancy and you've released him. What have we done?
He's waving the printout of the Wikipedia article.
He printed it out.
You get a notification on your phone from next door that says, did anybody see that The Mummy from The Mummy go into the sky right now, or is that just me?
The next segment that we do here is called What? Where am I? Who are you? What can I do?
What can I do? I'm pretty sure it's called What Can I Do? What do we do on What Can I Do?
It's not called What Can I Do? It's called If I Were You.
Yeah.
If I Were You is a segment where we talk about a thing we would do if we were you. I'm going to use my space here to talk about another escape room.
Oh, yeah.
I mentioned Escape My Room because we use touch to get through one of their rooms in complete darkness. And now another company that honestly is totally worth a trip to New Orleans. It's in Baton Rouge, but if you want to go down there, again, hit me up for some recommendations. It's amazing. It's world famous on many lists. This company is called 13th Gate. Their experience in escape rooms comes from them building haunts. They've done that for many years. And it comes through in the fact that the first room we did was called The Collector, and we were imprisoned by a serial killer, and they used scents in the room. Like, it smelled nasty.
Yep.
And it was disgusting. It definitely it was effective.
Yeah. I still smell it sometimes.
Oh God.
To this day.
We talked to the game master about it, and she was telling us how they make the smell by leaving stuff in a bucket to rot for a long time. And it's literally called Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
And so it was very effective at setting the mood. Mm-hmm. Now, that might sound repulsive to you. The rooms are amazing for many other reasons, but I just thought the use of scent was very intriguing.
It was very effective.
And
it made me feel like I was actually going to get serial killed.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, of course, my dream.
That's their only, they have a couple really scary rooms. Most of their other rooms are different and well built and are not super scary.
And also use scents for positive
different things.
They're not just, they don't all smell like poopy dead bodies.
Escape this donut shop.
Yeah.
Escape this laundromat.
13th Gate in Baton Rouge, amazing escape place. Yeah, they use all kinds of different things. And really the best experience I've had at an escape room. Check them out.
If I were you, I would watch a show on Netflix. Been watching a lot of shows.
Sweet.
Because I'm mostly tired and don't want to do anything. But a show that, again, I was kind of like, it looks fine when it first came out. But Tanner was like, I have heard really good things. I think we should watch it. And we did. Although I think we have one more episode left. Sex Education. It's a British show. I think the reason I was kind of like, whatever, is it kind of seems like it's maybe going to be like a teen sex farce type thing. But Gillian Anderson is in it. Yeah. And she plays like the mom who is a sex therapist. And her son is like this kind of awkward, nerdy high school guy. But he's really smart and knows a lot about stuff. And so he and this girl at his school decide that they're going to start this sex therapy for their classmates. Oh. It's really well written. There's some really great characters in it, and the comedic acting is wonderful. I realize that these actors playing these high school students are probably mostly in their 20s.
Sure. That's how it goes.
They're so good. They're so good, and some of the weird humor in it is just really surprising and fun. And so I have one episode left, so hopefully it's not terrible and ruins the whole thing. But I would highly recommend giving it a watch.
On this recommendation on the segment, What Can I Do? What can I do? I'm gonna tell you can watch a movie called Perfume. We mentioned it earlier. I honestly love that movie.
Me too.
I think it is a weird one. I would not go into it without knowing a lot about how it can be shocking and maybe disturbing to a lot of people. So don't just sit down and watch it with your family because David on the Hypotheticast said it. Don't do that.
But everything else that David has recommended, you should definitely sit down and do with your family.
With your family. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Extended family.
It stars Ben Whishaw and Dustin Hoffman as a perfumer. The performances in the movie are pretty much great. Alan Rickman's there. There's a lot of good things going on. It's a very sensual movie, appropriately, because it's about a person that has a very strong sense of smell that wants to capture the scent of people, which obviously gets very creepy, very disturbing, very dark. and has one of the most fun conclusions that we did spoil on this podcast earlier when you were listening.
We gave them plenty of time to scoot away their chairs from the listening device of their choice.
So, but you've probably forgotten that by now because it was like a half hour ago. So go watch Perfume. I think it's a super well-made movie. It's shot super well. The score is amazing and the acting's really good. Check it out.
Do it.
Do you like listener participation throughout the week? Do you want more hypothetical questions? If so, you can find us on Facebook at Hypotheticast, on Twitter at Hypotheticast, on Instagram at Hypotheticast_IG. We post lots of questions throughout the week there. You could also join our super fun, exciting, and selective Facebook group, which is called the Hypotheticast Fan Collaboratory, where all of our best fans hang out.
The best ones.
Start weird conversations and give us their thoughts and ideas.
Truth.
You can help us out a lot by spreading the word. Leave us a review on iTunes, any podcast app you use, whatever you use to listen to podcasts. If you can review stuff on there, just take a few minutes to write a review of us. It helps us out a lot. This week, we got a review from the_Buttercat. They said, "This podcast makes my week. It never fails to bring a smile to my face and even a belly laugh or two. I want to be best friends with the hosts and eagerly wait for each new episode. Keep being weird and amazing. Heart emoji."
Do you think best friends?
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
Because I think I want to be best friends with the _Buttercat.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
Knowing nothing about them besides this and their username, I'm into it.
And use the words of your mouth to tell the world about us. Any people that are nearby, tell them that you like us or that you don't like us, I guess. Everyone has different opinions. Have a conversation about us.
Thank you to Jane James and the Hunger for their song Killing It. It's from their album Raw. Thank you to Christian Hagen for his logo that he made for us. Thank you to the listeners for submitting a bunch of questions this week, for submitting questions all the time, for responding to our posts, for engaging with us, for listening, for reviewing, all that stuff. You're great. Keep it up. We love you.
We do.
And we have one last segment. No questions asked. Haha. And it's a segment where I ask one question. This question comes from Helen Gutchie. Would you rather smell like a wet dog or be a wet dog?
B.
Thank you for listening.
Goodbye.
We're the wet dogs.
Bye, friends. Go smell something nice.
I'm marching, marching. 'Cause I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm killing it. I'm killing it.
With young kids, like there's a very clear line for a lot of them. And it's hard to know where it is for kids. Yeah, some stuff will scare them and they don't really know why. I mean, I'm not really scared by much anymore. I'm so jaded. I've seen it all.
I know this is not very patient of me, but I really hope that my daughter is not like a little baby about stuff like that.
She's not a whale. Give birth to a baby.
I can't help but like in my mind get super annoyed when children that seem like they should be old enough get scared by like a shark in a Disney movie or something. Like I'm like
That like bothers you?
yes, I'm like I feel like some parents feed into it. Oh, you poor thing, like that's so scary and bad.
Well, that's
we don't want to watch
so
that
great.
bad stuff.
Sharks
like
are
I'm gonna be
bad.
like, it's a shark, it's not real. So
Hey, look, not real. Just like debunking TV for your kid.